Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm reviewing Okinawa, The Last Battle of World War II, a solo dice wargame from Gabe Barrett's solo series. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one. Okinawa, when you get right down to it, is kind of a Rondel game. You'll have enemy cards that are attacking certain spots of these 10 rotating spots around the board, and then every turn you'll also have other spots become dangerous based on enemy fire. And you're using dice with values 1 through 4 to both move around the Rondel in a clockwise fashion, but also to activate the abilities of the cards you're standing on to attack enemies, to build up defenses, to get mitigation for your die rolls. And when you go around too many times, you will move on to the next objective, and you'll try to get to the fourth objective, but enemies you don't kill will then fall back and become extra enemies at the end of the game. So you're trying to be as effective as you can without losing your life in the early objectives. And you're also leveling up and upgrading the cards in your Rondel to make them stronger, give them better abilities. So let's discuss 5 key things to know about Okinawa. So first, my number 5 point, the least important of the 5 to know about the game, is the scenario and objective variety, and this is a mix for my taste. So you've got 3 objectives for each level, 1 through 3, and then you always have the same one for the 4th objective, Hill 89. Each of the objectives has a fully unique ongoing card, although I find that a lot of them don't come into play as often as you would think, so they don't really make it feel that different. And they also each have a different mix of enemies. This is probably the biggest change from scenario to scenario. And on top of that, most of them will have you draw at least one random card from this big collection of enemies, so no playthrough is going to be identical. But yeah, truth be told, while the missions are fun and somewhat varied, you still feel like you're doing basically the same thing each time you play. For my number 4 point, I'm looking at the player units and leveling them up, and this is generally a pro for my taste. So there's nice variety in which units come out. You have an offer of 3, and whenever you take one, you flip a new one. So you're not going to have the exact same units every time. Now, on the negative side, there aren't that many different units. There's like 5 or 6 types total, so you are going to see the same stuff again and again, but the order they come out and when you get them will change. But what I love is how your tools shift, and you have to get rid of things from your existing line, especially when you get a machine gun team where you have to get rid of 2 things and lose an entire slot. And some are going to make infantry enemies way easier to defeat, some really take out armored enemies, some just give you better luck mitigation. So your options can change, and you get to even flip some units to their opposite side if you get the right tokens. Now that's fairly rare, you're only getting to do that maybe 2 or 3 times a game, but that's another fun wrinkle to leveling up and using your troops in the game. For my number 3 point, which is a full pro as well, I'm looking specifically at the enemies. I didn't mention them already in the objective variety, but like I said, there are lots of different types of enemies, and they have a lot of variety in which way they attack, because they're going to make certain sections of the game board of the cards you're moving through dangerous, and you'll take damage if you end your turn where arrows are pointing. They also have different numbers of cover tokens, which requires you to use your scouts or other cards to remove them before you can even shoot the people. And the difference between infantry and armored units really changes up your strategy and which units you're using. And all that's even without mentioning the basic soldiers that are going to be, again, rolling dice and endangering certain spots, which can change up the entire strategy of the turn. Whoops, I can't stay here. I better try to land on that rifle guy. So yeah, it's a really cool system, and it gives the game natural tension every time you play. You can't just sit still and be safe. My number 2 point, a very important one to know, is the dice luck in the game. And not so much the enemy dice. I find those are pretty easy to mitigate and move around, but your own dice. You're rolling 4 or 5 or 6 dice each turn. And the big thing is, as I mentioned, you are moving around this Rondel, and whenever you cross over the objective, this little flag thing moves up, and when you reach a 0, you have to move on, and all these enemies are going to head to the hill and kill you at the end. So what you want to try to do is usually not move at all. And you can kind of do that because if you get a run of numbers, you can activate the card you're on as many times as you want, as long as you keep on using an ascended number. So I could use the scout 4 times in a row and not move at all this turn. So when you get those kind of results, you can just blast people to Kingdom Come and not move at all, whereas sometimes you'll roll like this, and you'll kind of have to move a bunch and use up your dice more quickly, so the game can swing quite a bit based on whether you get lucky with your rolls or not. But that doesn't change the fact that my number 1, a big pro for the game, is the Rondel movement itself. I think this is such a cool thing. The tension of dodging the enemies, getting to the cards you want to activate, which might be getting shot by somebody, while also moving as little as possible and trying to kind of maximize the efficiency of your die rolls, but whoops, maybe the dice won't help you out, although again, you can use clever mitigation to make it work in your favor. All of that comes together into a really yummy, awesome tactical package that I enjoy quite a bit. So overall, if you want a quick playing game with a really cool take on a Rondel mechanic and just nice tactical choices and excitement overall, Okinawa might be for you. But on the other hand, if you don't enjoy dice luck or if you want a ton of variety play to play, the game might let you down a bit. And if you want to see it in action, my preview play is still pretty accurate to the final version of the game, so you can go watch that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.